Okay, so I like to make a lot of team comps that aren't really meta, but they still have like really good synergy. They're fun to play, and above all else, I can 36 star the Abyss with them. With and their builds are like pretty relatable, if not, just not completely built yet. And so that's like attesting to the synergy that the team has. It's kind of a alternative meta. I don't think that they're better than what's already considered meta. I just like using things that are a bit more fun to play, give a little bit more dopamine while I'm playing it. And if you guys like the teams too, all the better. Now, to make a Hyperbloom team, you need 3 elements. You need Hydro, Dendro, and Electro. But most Hyperbloom teams you see out there have a lot of Electro-charge reactions, because Dendro is this new and shiny reaction though. Like, I like new and shiny things, right? So I want to do Hyperbloom and Quicken reactions. So Hyper Quick, Hyper Quick. Now, nothing is wrong with Hyperbloom with Electro-charge reactions. Electro-charge is a really good reaction. I'm just trying something different and kind of focusing on proccing Quicken reactions. And after a bunch of testing on the stream, I found that Mona is the answer. So why Mona? Like, Mona's hydro application is compact, and her off-field hydro application is really short, which means like you can separate her hydro from the electro side, thus you can avoid losing the quicken state. So quicken is a state that's applied to an enemy with Dendro and Electro, and after it's applied, you can trigger spread or aggravate, but if the enemy is touched with hydro or pyro, the state is consumed, so you won't get spread or aggravate. That means if your hydro has a lot of off-field application, for example like Kokomi, they are erasing the quicken state, and you get a lot of electrocharge reactions, at least with how most of the hydro characters work right now. And every time you erase and then reapply the quicken state, you're missing out on that aggravate or spread damage. So like with Mona, you can kind of avoid this reaction mixing and separate out the quicken reactions nicely. And also, if your team has an Anemo character, the Swirl infusion priority will be Hydro before Electro. So with Kazuha, the Swirl can, possibly infuse with Hydro, consuming the Quicken and enabling Electro-charge. So you can try to avoid that with Mona's like short Hydro application, and it ends up working really well to not disrupt the Quicken side of this team comp. And then there's Tighnari. His Dendro application is only when he is on field, plus it's a lot of Dendro. You can make a whole bunch of blooms all at once using Mona's relatively short off-field hydro window. And at the end of Tighnari's turn, you're left with a bunch of blooms and the enemies affected by Dendro. Then, the quicken part of the rotation can begin, and I am using Yae and Kazuha. And now you're probably saying, wait, this team has 4 5-stars? And yeah, it does. I think Mona and Tighnari are kind of important for this comp to work, but you have some more options when it comes to Yae and Kazuha. But, for Mona, it is possible to use Xingqiu or Yelan, as long as you don't use normal attacks when you're doing the quick inside. But I also kind of feel like I'm wasting them if I'm not using their off-field damage. So Mona does what is needed, and she can use Prototype Amber on top of all of that, so she can give a little healing too. Now, instead of Kazuha, maybe Sucrose or Fischl. Sucrose can share EM and hold VV. Fischl can hold Elegy with off-field electro damage and a nice passive. Also with Fischl, you can avoid any problems with like swirl priority, and overall, I still prefer Kazuha for all of his benefits, right? Like the crowd control, the elemental buff, he can hold VV, he has really good synergy with Yae, it's a really long list, so I still prefer Kazuha. And as for Yae, I find that Yae and Tighnari work really well together, and I like Yae gets a lot of damage from her elemental skill. But you can also try Fischl or other Electros like Raiden, anything that can get like a whole bunch of damage all at once. If you find something that works, let me know in the comments or in Twitch chat. Yae is the off-field Electro and Tighnari is the on-field Dendro, so they work really well together on the quicken side of the rotation. Kazuha will also buff your Yae damage and can proc aggravates with swirled Electro. For playstyle, this team kind of lets you switch between making blooms or doing quicken, and you can actively choose while you're playing which side you want to be on, which I really like, because I like kind of being able to make decisions while I'm fighting, and a lot of the damage is coming from elemental skills, so the rotation is not so strict, which in my opinion is just more fun to play, and you don't have to worry so much that you messed up the rotation. or if you don't have your burst up yet. So if you want to just live in the quicken side of the reactions for a bit, you can do that. You can also move back to Mona to heal and do the blooms whenever you need it. Kind of whatever you feel like or what the situation calls for. But if you do need a rotation to follow though, for testing, I was doing kind of a ping pong rotation. So I go down the rotation, then I turn around and I come back up. And in that case, it would be Mona, Tighnari, Yae, Kazuha, Yae, Tighnari, Mona, and we can start all over again. I'm gonna do a run using this team. So even though like my team of choice, right? So even though my team of choice is the Quicken team, right? This team can do the Abyss, right? And sometimes that's all that matters, right? On the other side, I'm going to use Chonky Electro so that my life is easy. Let me try to have a good run. Where's your Mona scared it away? Oh my god. Right. Let's go this way. Right. And also, like, this current Abyss, like, it's actually not so good for this team because of, like, there's a lot of Hydro characters that are applying Hydro to you. And so if you're using an Nemo character, you can spread that Hydro back, right, onto the enemies, which takes off the Quicken state. But yeah, especially like you'll see here, there is this Mirror Maiden. Like now. But let's be real. The team still works. Let's be real. The team still works, and that's the point. But it's okay, because the team still works out. Not a problem. Because, like, the whole point is that Mona and Tighnari, they give you a whole bunch of blooms all at once. And then you can, like, trigger all those blooms at once with, Yai. So that's why the team still works. Even if it's not doing exactly what you want it to do. And, like, that's also, like, how I like to make team comps too, right? Like, even though it's not doing exactly what I want it to do to get the damage that I want, it's still doing, you know, decent damage on its own. Making it a little bit more Unga Bunga friendly, you know? That's all you can ask for. More Unga. More Bunga. He's standing on the fire. Oh well. How's your Yai build? She's actually not even built that well. She's a 2-piece Thundering, 2-piece Shimenawa. Before I start Chamber 3, I'm gonna give you... Oh look, I have a healing one. I can give you a few tips. The first thing is, like, use Kazuha. Alright. Kazuha's great on this half. If you have him, definitely use him. He interrupts their attacks, especially the one where he sticks the tail in the ground and, like, hits you from underneath the ground. Kazuha's skill will break it. I have no blooms. I mean the bowl. It's like, why? But why not? Sometimes he shoots to the left, sometimes he shoots to the right. Ah, joy. Randomness. I'm sure people who play Sac Sword Kazuha, they're like having the easiest time with this, and they're laughing at all of us weaklings who don't use Sac Sword Kazuha. Because, like, yeah, you could just, like, spam Kazuha, I feel like, against these dudes, and it's quite effective. If you're interested, I did test Sac Sword Kazuha on 12.3 first half on stream. If you want to check that out, I'll put a link in the description. And spoiler alert, it's really nice. And then we have like an easy time on this side, and you know, because we can get a fast clear. Makes me happy. People wide happy. Wide people happy. There you go. Okay, here are the builds used in the showcase. Mona is built as a support, 4-piece Noblesse and Prototype Amber, 231 ER, her burst talent is level 6. Kazuha is 4-piece VV, full EM, Iron Sting, 933 EM. Yai is 2-piece Thundering, 2-piece Shimenawa, Lost Prayers with 1678 attack, 261 EM, and her crit is 83 199. Her talents are 176. Tighnari is not even built yet. He's on whatever I just have right now. He has 2-piece Dedgewood, 2-piece Shime, and here are his stats. He's using the Skyward Crutch, and like, listen, I am like these stats, like, they almost don't mean anything, right? I'm still suffering in the new Sumeru domain. I really want to test out the new 4-piece sets with this team comp, but that will have to be whenever RNGesus finally blesses me. So you can check me out on Twitch. I stream there every day, where we just hang out while playing some games like Genshin. Would like to see you over there at twitch.tv/tiger7. Alright guys, until next time, bye bye.